So we got Michael Jordan's son Marcus drove his car onto the train tracks. I don't know. Someone said he was avoiding the police. I don't know if that's true, but he was certainly drinking and probably, apparently, he had cocaine on him or whatever. Um, yeah, lifestyles of the rich and famous. It is what it is. Anybody, whether you're rich or poor, anybody can make bad decisions. So I'll say that. Anybody can, get involved in the wrong things. But it's funny, being somebody who came from nothing myself and not wealthy, right? You look at things like that and you're just like, how stupid is that? But it's easy to judge from afar, but still, it's also something to be said about, when you're a son of somebody rich, it's like, and you were born into opulence and wealth and prestige, his father being the greatest basketball player ever, which I think he is, you know, you tend to have a chip on your shoulder. You tend to think you can get away with anything. I think Michael Jordan was always a smart person, but we know what we know about him. He was a gambler. He liked to, you know, moonlight in a lot of different things. Probably had a lot of women, I'm sure. We don't know exactly why he got divorced to his wife, but I mean, when you have that level of, it's just, the temptation is overwhelming not to be, piece of crap, and go out and do things. And of course, Jordan always had a big ego. He was I believe he was to some extent a narcissist, although he was able to, figure it out to where he could win games, to where he could win championships. But he had that narcissistic personality. But he always came up. He was smart enough to come across as humble, because he knew that humbleness would solidify his greatness, which is something that LeBron James has never figured out. Look, Michael Jordan was a superstar in every sense of the word. Not just the greatest ever player, but he was also a superstar at being a superstar, right? He knew how to capture, the public's attention, keep the public's attention. He knew how to keep people always liking him. He was bright enough to never mess that up. Where LeBron James went wrong was he just came across as kind of the jerk. A lot of times came across as like he didn't care. And Kobe Bryant went wrong there too. They weren't well-rounded human beings as Michael Jordan appeared to be. But for as great as Michael Jordan portrayed himself to be, now we know he was a compulsive gambler. Now we know he was kind of a jerk behind the scenes. So, don't meet your heroes. Anyway, I just say that to say that, on the one hand, yes, if you're rich, it's easy to indulge in temptations. It's easy to be a narcissist. It's very easy to be a jerk and think you're better than other people, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. There's still superstars out there that are humble, that are genuinely humble, not fake humble. I think Jordan was fake humble. But the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, like father like son. So I went and watched the video of Marcus Jordan, getting arrested, and I'm not happy that any bad things happen to people, like that. But at the same time, it's like, you see a lot of privilege in this guy. You see a lot of privilege, and thinking that because you're someone who's that famous's son, you kind of, the law doesn't apply to you. And this is kind of his attitude, was he was just kind of shocked that it was happening. It's like, I guess it's a wake-up call, hopefully it's a wake-up call and he'll turn over a new leaf. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that he wasn't with Larsa, and I'm not sure if they're even still together, but last I heard is they were going to get married. Maybe that was like a year ago or something. But this whole thing between Scottie Pippen and Jordan, it's very interesting to say the least. Scottie Pippen's ex-wife hooking up with Marcus Jordan, which to me, as a red pill guy, is just such an obvious money grab. I mean, the Jordan legacy, the Jordan wealth is so astronomical, right? It's so billions, a few billion at least. How much is Jordan worth? He's got to be worth a couple billion. I mean, that's a lot of money to dip into for Larsa, and she just looks like the quintessential gold digger. I don't know her, but it's just weird and creepy. There's no reason why she would want to hook up with Michael Jordan's son. I mean, like, how did they even meet? That's creepy. She probably was predatory towards him to some degree. I mean, even if he was of age, it's still weird and predatory. I think we need to start using that word for gold diggers, predatory. Women who chase after rich and wealthy men are predatory. That's predatory behavior, right? So, that's creepy and weird. But then you got this dude getting arrested, and the girl he was with was not even, it wasn't Larsa. It was she looked like a prostitute. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's just a little snippet, a little glimpse into the private lives of these people. I'm sure this stuff goes on. I mean, they used to make shows and movies about this stuff, but the kids of famous people are just, they're doing designer drugs, they're driving around in designer cars, they're dating designer women, paying for designer women, and that's a weird life, man. I don't know if it's a fulfilling life. I don't know, because when you're struggling and you don't have money, and this is the thing, is that, when you don't have money and you look at these people and you're like, gosh, you automatically just envy them. You envy them and you think, gosh, I wish because, they don't have to do anything, and they don't have to struggle, and they don't have to stress, and they don't have to live our lives that we live, to make a living and to stay above board. They got everything handed to them. They could take a flight to anywhere in the world tomorrow if they wanted to, and that's something that there's people who save up their whole lives to go on one vacation. And it's just sad. It's weird. It's sad. It's a weird world, and it's truly, classism and inequality in money is truly the epitome of, it's the epitome of inequality, really. It's just the epitome of what, the real reality about life is that it's not good for everybody. Some people just have it made in the shade by birth, and other people just have got dealt a crappy card, a crappy hand in life. So it's funny to just see it happen, because it's like, and I'm sure he's kicking himself now. Maybe I don't know what type of person he is. I don't know if he's ever sober. He might think, I'm Michael Jordan. That's one of the things he said, is I'm Michael Jordan's son. It's one of the, while he was getting arrested, but he might think, I'm Michael Jordan's son. I should be above that. I'm royalty. He had this kind of attitude like he was royalty. Trying to talk his way out of it, like, oh, this shouldn't happen, because in his mind he's thinking, I'm too special for this. I don't get arrested. I'm Michael Jordan's son. You know, it's like, I think he's 34, 35, something like that, and he still doesn't understand the reality of life. Is that not everybody was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, man. That's just reality. Um, and it's funny to see this. Just these people have no morals. These people have no ethics. He's supposed to be with this woman Larsa, and he's out with some prostitute or whatever. She looked like a prostitute, whatever she was. I'm sure they weren't just besties out going for a joyride. No, he had cocaine on him. He was drinking, and she looked inebriated. And where do you think they're going? You know. So yeah, man, it's a creepy world, you know, on the other side of things, and when you really get a good viewpoint, or red pill viewpoint of things, you got this gold digger Larsa Pippen, and she didn't care, allegedly, but apparently she doesn't care if her fiance or whatever is out messing with other women, because all she cares about is the money. And then you think, why is he with her then if he's sleeping around? And probably some kind of soul tie. She captured him into having sex. And sometimes when men get used to having sex with a certain type of woman and the sex is good, they tend to fall in love, or they tend to fall in something, fall in lust. It's not necessarily love, it's lust. But a soul tie happens, and then you don't want to give her up, but you still want to sleep around or whatever. I mean, that's the red pill, that's the red pill from the guy's perspective, is particularly when you have money, you think, oh, I can buy a woman, and it's true, you can't. So he is buying women. He's out here buying women. He's buying Larsa, and she's selling herself so she can get a piece of that Jordan legacy money, because she has no soul and she has no morals, so she'll try to see if she can divorce him and get money, however much she got from Pippen divorce. These people are just professional con men. They're just swindlers, And here you got Marcus just messing it all up. And I'm sure his dad's mad. Of course his dad's mad, because his dad's not dumb. He may be a narcissist, but he's not dumb. He knows that Larsa's trying to take him for all his money. And then he's going to be extra special mad when he hears about Marcus out messing around. So yeah, man, it's a weird world we live in, man. It's dark. It's a dark world. People need God. People need a purpose in their life, You watch these movies where these elite families and stuff, and they're just so narcissistic and stuff. And it's true. It's a reflection of real life. Is you got these rich people, and I dated a rich girl once, or her parents, had a couple million in the bank, and I mean, they were millionaires, through real estate, and then her dad owned a pretty successful business, and she was just, she was fun, but, and I think she was nice, but she was, she was privileged, and she had this attitude where, like, I could do what I want, and she was on drugs and all this different stuff, and she lived this kind of carefree life, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see rich people. But it's also reality. It's just it's a reality check, because not everybody can have that life, and there's people who work their whole lives to get just a little taste of what they have. But anyway, yeah, it's just a red pill moment where, what the heck is this guy out doing with this other woman, and he's out doing drugs. So I'm sure that's his lifestyle. And how long is that going to last, I mean, Jordan was a drinker. I don't know if Jordan ever did I don't think he ever did cocaine, but he drank a little bit, and he liked to gamble, and he liked to be out all night, even before games, and that's kind of his addiction. But he didn't, I don't think he got too far into substances. But if Michael Jordan's son's doing cocaine, that ain't good, how long is that going to last? The kid's only 34, 35. He's already got addictions, and it sounds like he's addicted to women, and he's got unlimited money. I don't know. That ain't a good life you're setting your kid up for, So some point you got to say, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? With my kid, I didn't teach him morals. I didn't teach him boundaries. I didn't teach him self-respect. Those are things that money can't buy. Those are things that you got to earn. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.